Yeah, okay. So first of all, I would like to say that we are sorry that we got a little bit of a silent around, and that's because we've been very focused on developing the SimRail for basically to make it the best, and we had a few issues, and we had to work around it. We believe in our game, and we are trying to make it the best. So there was a few things what we had to do with changing the rendering engine for the HDRP. Yeah, so basically we had to focus really on development. So there was plenty of things going on, and we've not been sure how much of a work is still left to be done. So that's why there was a little bit of a silence from our end. But we've not left our project. Still, SimRail is live. And yeah, we're gonna ship it, that's for sure. So what is happening? The SimRail now is in testing stage. So we've done a lot of improvements because we've been adding the features. What a lot of the ideas for the features we've been through from your side, actually, from the players, from the people who've been actually testing the game, to seeing the prologue, seeing the demo. So the SimRail now is in testing stage. We are not far from releasing. So we are looking at the release in a maximum probably few months, and that will be a release of a early access. We're gonna be reading your feedback, seeing what you like, what you maybe don't like, what maybe the problems, what you would like to add to the game as well, and we're gonna be working on that, as well as porting it for Xbox, for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox X, and One. So that's what we're gonna be doing. There was a feedback that maybe we should do something more with the movement of a cabin once you're rolling your rolling stock through the rails, and that's what we added. We added like some kind of a G's. When you are accelerating, you can see the camera is going backwards. When you're braking, the camera goes back forward a little bit. We can see the shakes. So yeah, we are building the immersion on that, and that was one of your ideas for the feature what we should really add. The next most popular question is about the rolling stock. What will be at the premiere? So what we're gonna be looking here is that we're gonna have ET25, and that's the Dragon, 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝐻 tracks, 34WE, two versions of that, EU07, ED250, and we're gonna be looking at the Steam Train TY2 at the full release. There is probably more coming, but that's not anything official just yet. So that's gonna be at the release, and that's what we're gonna focus on, because it takes a very long while to actually develop the full train with plenty of scripts, plenty of correlations, what not all of the trains have. We're gonna have a route from Katowice to Warsaw through the central railway line, and we're gonna have Katowice to Sędziszów. So that's more than 500 kilometers of a route. So there will be plenty of space actually where to have a fun with your train, and yet it is huge distance. There is more plans, not necessarily like Poland, but also we are not saying that there won't be any more Polish routes in the SimRail. So yeah, that's something what will be in a full version of a SimRail. So no worries about that. There will be every time when you're gonna play the scenario, it can be different. You can come across different difficulties, different situations. So yeah, there will be always something different. So yeah, SimRail will have a winter, and it will be as well in a full version of a SimRail. In the moment, like, it's not planned to have a free play, because with the development of a SimRail, you'll be able to make your own missions. So actually, it will work very similar to that. But strictly free play won't be. It's not planned at the moment. So the missions are very, very different, and it can vary from 30 minutes, very, very short mission, to even 4 hours. And initially you will have access to 10 missions. So yeah, it will be varied. If you have a very short period of time to have a little relax at the computer with the computer, so yeah, you can play some mission what is quite short, like 30 minutes. It's not much. But if you are ready for full experience and you want to go from Katowice to Warsaw, that's 4 hours, and that's something what you'll be able to do in a SimRail. We are getting the question about if there will be voice communication on a platform. So the voice that's saying that the train arrives in how many minutes, and is going from one place to the second place. Yeah, it will be as a feature in the SimRail. So yeah, that's something to look forward as well. So don't you worry about that. Yeah, there will be a dynamic weather in our game as well. It can be set in the mission. So yeah, that's something what SimRail will ship as well. So don't you worry about that. That's something what will be available to buy once we will go to the full version of a SimRail. So yeah, that's interesting as well. Of course, it won't be on early access, but for full release, yeah, that's something what you're gonna be able to buy and have a physical copy of a SimRail. So the dispatcher mode won't be available in the single player. It will be only available in the multiplayer. So how it will look like, that basically logging into the game, you would be able to choose if you are choosing to be a dispatcher today, or you're going to be a train driver. If you are a dispatcher, you are choosing the station where you are based at. And of course, depends what kind of a station it is. It will be initially 10 available, but it depends what kind it is. It can be a computer based. It can be like a desk based, what you're gonna see on a clips behind me as well, and the mechanical ones. So that's. If you will be focused, you're gonna see the clips from a dispatcher mode just behind me. So yeah, you're gonna have a control over the area, and you can send the signals. You can send the trains from one place to the second place. You can move around. You can figure it out how you're gonna basically reload the traffic of a multiplayer. So that will be a quite full and intense experience in a multiplayer, especially on a dispatch mode. So in a one session on the long scenery, it will be up to 100. So there will be plenty of people, especially that's a very long distance. So there will be question about the voice chat. So the voice chat will be basically there will be two types of a voice chat. There will be a distant one. So if you are walking around the scenery and you are close to somebody else, you'll be able to hear yourself. And of course, like it is in real life, because that's what we've been trying to recreate, basically how it is in real life. You'll be able to chat through the radio. Of course, make sure if you are on the same channel, and if you are on the same channel with the guys, you're gonna be able to hear yourself and basically communicate through the radio. And yeah, just behind me you have a example of a one station where you can play around with the traffic, oncoming traffic from a side to side. No, we are not planning that. There won't be any dedicated server, and that's not planned in a minute. So there will be servers, like a local servers. So for example, if you are from Poland and you want to play with in a Polish language, you can join the Polish server where you are able to communicate in the Polish. And also, as well, there will be more general ones like English ones. Of course, there will be a possibility to actually play SimRail with a lot of different devices. Even if you will have, let's say, your own device, you basically wanted to do your own one with the SDK, what I will be covering later on. You'll be able to actually program it to your own device. So yeah, it will be quite a flexible thing. And yeah, so we know that is quite a legendary rolling stock, and it won't be on the release, but we are looking at doing it probably later on, or maybe in a different or in the next release of a SimRail. We know that it's quite of a piece, and we wanted to actually focus on it quite specially. So, and it takes a really long while to actually develop full train actually to the standard. So we wanted to do a really good job. So there'll be moderators on the server. They're gonna keep an eye on what is going on and see what is the state of a server. So yeah, if there will be somebody who is mean and try and actually stop people having fun, can actually go to ban or can be kicked out from a session for a let's say period of time to actually think about his decisions and stuff, and if it's that nice actually to actually make other people, let's say, there is so many things what we are counting, like all the physics and stuff. We are actually doing a lot of work with optimization, because we are adding the feature, and once we are adding the feature, we have to then optimize it. Oh, sorry. We have to make it work smooth, and we are doing it all the time, and that's something what we are working on, and we can see huge improvements. And of course, some things have to be done, let's say, from A to Z, then to optimization. So we can see that optimization of a game is already way better, and let's say it's not such an issue anymore already, and we know that we can make it run even faster. So yeah, we've done quite a lot of work, and we are satisfied how it works. Yeah, and once you are, let's say, if you go to the Steam page and see the minimal requirements and proposed ones. You can, with a minimal one, you can expect to run 30 FPS, and with the specs what we advise, you can expect 60 FPS in our game. But as I said, we are doing plenty of work with optimization, and probably will be even better according to that. Okay. So what's gonna happen once we're gonna make a full release of a SimRail? After a while, you get editor, like access to the editor, and the editor will be split into the three parts. There will be a mission editor, there will be a rolling stock editor, and there will be a scenery editor. It won't necessarily happen like those three ones, won't necessarily happen at the same time. But let's say with a mission editor, you'll be able to create your own mission and create the scenario, let's say. So in what time, what rolling stock, you go from one place to the second place. With a rolling stock editor, you will be able to, if you are owner, or if you are artist, or you have a rolling stock model and you want to have it, you want to see it in the SimRail, you'll be able to actually add it to the game, of course, with our SDK, and you would have to read how our pipeline and see how you need to prepare the rolling stock and how to apply the scripts to it to actually make it work. But it will be possible, and as well you'll be able to make your own paintings of a rolling stock and actually put it into the game and have fun with that. And the last one is in the scenery editor. So as well there will be with the SDK, and you'll be able to create your own scenery and actually make maybe your own trains to drive on your own scenery. So there will be plenty of that will be quite flexible, and you'll be able to make a lot of stuff and probably amazing piece of work into the SimRail. So yeah, that basically covers as well the modes, because we want to see the SimRail to grow, and with this SDK you'll be able to see you'll be able to do it, because you'll be able to add the train, add the livery, and basically ride it on your own scenery. Okay. Yeah, so I can see when editor will be after the full release. So the VR won't be in the full release of a SimRail. It is probably possible. It is possible to make a VR, but we don't know how big of a demand it is to have to be on a VR. So that's something what we're gonna be thinking about maybe after the release. See basically what basically was the feedback from you guys, if you really want to have a VR within the SimRail, or it's something what maybe is not that interesting. So we have a bot, we have AI, what basically moves the train, travels the train, if nobody is actually controlling it from a player wise. So yeah, if for example you are driving the train and after a few I don't know, maybe hours of a game, you got I don't know, broken connection, or you just somebody just got disconnected. The bot and AI is taking over the control of a train and basically drives it according to the rules. So it will still do what is told from a dispatcher point of view, like dispatcher, let's say perspective. So if you are sending the stop signal, the train will stop. If you say, yeah, you can go, and you're giving the green light, the AI will continue to drive further. Okay, and that's exactly what is happening with the dispatchers. So AI is taking over the dispatch area and manages the traffic within the area. So yeah, so there won't be any problems if somebody will exit the game. If you are what we are trying to do, because you would have to spend a little bit of time in a SimRail single player to, let's say, to see what the controls are and how it is behaving, what is going on, what the rules are, before you'll be able to do everything in the multiplayer. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to avoid the situation when somebody joins the multiplayer and don't really know how it works. Like before, like moving to the multiplayer, we wanted to keep multiplayer for people who we know that they already know the basics and can have a fun. So by gaining the experience in the single player, you will be able to unlock things and quirks and features in the multiplayer. So I think that's quite a fair deal, and it makes more of a balance work in a multiplayer. And another question about derailment about the crashes. So yeah, if you are going too fast on the corners, of course you're gonna get derailed and you can make a crash, and of course that's exactly what can happen in the multiplayer as well, and you can see the physical effects of that crash as well, because yeah, we are counting the forces. And basically, if maybe the turn is too tight for your speed, yeah, you can get thrown out. There is a question about the SimRail 2. When will SimRail 2 will be released? 𝗦𝘂𝗯𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿, I don't know. I cannot really say. I don't really know. There won't be a passenger mode, but you'll be able to freely move around in the multiplayer. Next question is if we are using the DLSS 𝐸AMD Yes, we are covering it as well. So question about the ray tracing. So the ray tracing won't be initially in the full release of the game, but that's something what we are keeping eye on, and that's something what it is in our minds. So probably that is some kind of that's a point in our plans for development of a SimRail. So not at the moment, but we are not saying no, and it is quite possible. And yeah, according to the quality of some things, that's why we are making actually the early access as well. We can see, we can get and collect feedback, what is very important for us, and see what we can improve, we can add to the game, what maybe some places where we can actually make it work even better, or add some little feature to the game. So that's something what we are working on constantly, and our team is constantly doing something, improving and making work even better. So yeah, that's something what you can expect us to actually make the SimRail every day a little bit better. So basically, how long we are estimating to be in early access, it depends on the feedback what we're gonna get from you, and the ideas maybe what you will share with us, if there is any features what will be good to add. So then we're going to consider if there is a good idea to actually develop those features and put it just before the full release, or maybe think about it in a next release of a SimRail. Yeah, basically that will be the very important argument for us to actually your feedback from the early access.